Nigeria's House of Representatives has rejected an accusation of religious persecution and genocide against Christians in Nigeria being promoted by U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, describing it as a misleading narrative. This comes as the national lawmakers called for a coordinated diplomatic and domestic response to a proposed legislation in the United States Senate, which will seek to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern over alleged violation of religious freedom. Senator Cruz, who is the junior United States Senator from Texas, recently introduced a bill seeking to protect Christians in Nigeria for what he described as religious persecution and genocide. And of course, Rise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss the federal government's criticism of Senator Ted Cruz's claim of Christian genocide in Nigeria, the need for concerted effort to tackle cases of misrepresentation of insecurity in Nigeria. Mr. Sobowale, always a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here, Sugar.
Very good. So this is not the first time Senator Cruz has courted controversy over his comments, even within U.S. politics, as it were. So how weighty are his claims on Nigeria so far, and or lack of thereof, as you will?
Yes, it's a sort of misinformation, but very dangerous misinformation. And if it's proposing an act called religious freedom in Nigeria, an act against religious freedom in Nigeria, it should be stopped before it sees through that bill. Because if it becomes a bill, it becomes the law, then it becomes a policy. Then it can be militarized or weaponized against the Nigerian state. So I don't want it to get to that stage. So since the House of Representatives has passed a resolution, they should go and lobby them in the US. Get a lobby group to go and lobby them and see that, so that bill does not see the light of day. You get it? And I'm serious about it. They must nip it in the bud that bill does not see the light of day. Because if you remember when the South African president went there, Ted Cruz, the Secretary of State, was there. The Vice President was there. And you could see the way they misconstrued genocide in South Africa. Apartheid is against blacks. But now the narrative they gave and the videos they showed Trump, which they presented before the South African president, were places in which they were showing blacks killing whites. Do you get me? Yeah. It was a great misrepresentation. Although Elon Musk had a hand in that, because he's South African. So we should not just think of it as a public relations exercise. Because really lives are involved, lives have been lost. But we know here in Nigeria that this is not a religious issue.
Indeed.
It's on both sides. It's on both sides. Although I will side with the people in the Middle Belt, especially. I think they have been more killed than in any other place in Nigeria. You get me? But it is not a Christian versus Muslim thing in Nigeria. You get me? We are more tolerant than that. But you see, some people want to foment trouble for the government of the day or for the country for various reasons. They can promote this sort of misinformation and get it actualized by the most powerful state right now. And you know, with Trump, see, they do their things methodically. But once they have seen you as an enemy, they come after you. You see what they are doing now? Arresting warlords in various countries, flying military people there to do it. You saw what they did to Iran, the bombing. So we should not take these things for granted. Government itself must protect its own sovereignty. You get me? It must do it by waging an information war, clarification, elucidating war against this stance by the evangelical Christians in the US who are fervent people about trying to defend Christians in any part of the world. So it's a serious issue, but it should be nipped in the bud by us putting forward a counter information strategy to deflate it before it becomes an act in the U.S. Senate. Let's leave it at that.
I also feel like it's not often that the U.S. ever talks about what's going on in Nigeria. I think I can count on my hands the number of times they'll publicly come out to say, you know, maybe with Bring Back Our Girls, with End SARS. What is it about this particular issue beyond them trying to appeal to their base? Do they feel the need to actually bring up Nigeria in conversation?
Yes, you have to look at their recent politics, recent election. You get me? The Christian right is coming back to control in the U.S. Get me? See, and I will be saying this every time. Trump campaigned on that. Do you get me? Because all these LGBTQ rights and so on, those were some of the main, and abortion, those are the issues on the table, the forefront, and immigration in their election. And Trump got the mandate on that, and he's trying to act on that. And the Christian forces in the U.S. feel they were part of people who put Trump into power. And Trump admitted that much. And the simplest thing but most powerful thing to look at is when he said religion, that there are two sexes. That's a highly moral issue, male and female, not half male or bisexual, whatever. These are moral issues, really, and they are related to religion. So you can see, it stems from now. So you should not sit back. And they are trying to turn, it's a cultural war. You get me? They are trying to turn around the hand of the clock and eliminate all the advances this LGBTQ had made during the Biden and Obama era. They want to eliminate all those advances. It could up to climate, whatever, in these 4 years that Trump is there. So that is the genesis of this, right? And it is a powerful interference. Which can be criminalized or militarized against us if you do not lobby and nip it in the bud. It's a virile misinformation that can harm our polity.
Indeed, Mr. Sobowale, but I've been thinking, when Muslims are also targeted by Islamic insurgency in parts of the north in Nigeria, they've also been victims. Mosques have been attacked. We didn't hear anything from Senator Cruz. There's scenarios whereby even the LGBTQ scenario, I think sometime in the Jonathan presidency, there was a bill or law passed over gay activism and stuff like that. We didn't hear anything from the United States now. So why this particular moment? Yes, we know a lot of things going on. It's like sowing seeds of chaos and trying to also quell that chaos. That's the scenario with probably what's happening in the US right now. And you tend to think, is it because we didn't kowtow to the issue of not having immigration setbacks from the US, people bring in some of all those issues that we didn't agree to have immigrants or illegal immigrants that weren't processed brought back to the US and stuff, all that stuff.
They didn't even approach us. But this one has been in the burner.
Well, it's been on, but why now? It's intensifying.
You see, Biden is a Catholic, but he supported gay rights. The same thing with Pelosi. So those are two different people, and those are the people that Trump defeated. And then, you see, there are two Ted Cruzes. You get me? One is Secretary of State, and he too has this mindset. I won't say he's a religious fanatic, but there are people on the right who are implementing Trump's policies based on anti-abortion and based on marriage between a man and a woman, and there are two sexes. Get me? And on that scale, in Nigeria we don't have such problems because we abide by African culture. And even, that's only one thing. I've written it in my columns in the past. If you talk about abortion or gay rights, you will find, for once, both Christians and Muslims are on the same side, including even Boko Haram. Because Boko Haram, when they seize girls, they marry them, and still go on rampage. So it is a moral, religious issue. What if people want to demarcate it into Christian and Muslim? It can be hazardous. And that is what the government should nip in the bud. The government should nip it in the bud before it becomes an act in the United States, and then they use it as a policy to attack us. That's it.
And I wanted to kind of drill down more on that what if. So you just said, you know, they can use that policy to attack us. What does that really look like? Yeah, what does that mean? What does that look like for Nigerians?
You see, in politics, especially with the Trump administration, you notice that, okay, they are shut down with their government now.
Yes.
Because they are negotiating on this sort of thing, what you want or your own concern in your own constituency, and before we sign. What they do is they secure money, they put a budget on the ground, and they discuss and negotiate. If you want this, I want this too. And they put everything together, cost it, and agree. They have not been able to agree. That's why their government is locked down for about 7 days now. These small bits and pieces of cultural inclinations and moral, religious dispensations. Yes, that's what they are. That is how their lawmaking, legislation, that is what it is all about. And that is why I feel we should get in between that and not sit back until this Ted Cruz, either the one from Texas or the one who is Secretary of State. You get me? Because they are powerful vocal voices. And you cannot say it's only disinformation. Because, man, if you read reports about Nigeria in the dailies, you see the killings in Plateau, Benue State, every time. And they just submitted the report on the killings to the governor, and the facts are disturbing. Just like this group said, he said they know specific people who are in specific places and at specific times are committing genocide against Christians, and they know them. So we have to put up a very strong counter misinformation strategy to prevent that act on religious freedom and accountability on Nigeria from being put in place.
You can't help but think, if you remember not too long ago from the last administration, when you hear that, okay, fine, we have been able to identify those who are the fund, those who fund Boko Haram and all this other stuff in governance, but it hasn't been published. When you hear things like that, so how can government itself sanitize its own enlightenment scenario, to ensure that the right facts are being, sent out?
That is their own business. Because insecurity, if there is insecurity, people will not look favorably on government. People will foment hatred against government from outside. But then, maybe after, at the end of it, there is something you call unintended consequence. Maybe, since they have not published the list of sponsors of terrorism, maybe we may get some, they say every cloud has its silver lining. Maybe it's these Americans who will publish them for us.
Indeed.
And if it saves us from insecurity,
so be it.
The sooner, the better. Right.
All right, Mr. Dayo Sobowale, Arise News analyst, would like to thank you very much for your thoughts on those issues. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.